Well, who day? Big win this weekend. How about that, man? Got back on track. Lots of good things going on, man. It's a lot better to have a show like this when you have a win to talk about. So, looking at what happened this weekend, I mean, obviously the Bengals, went halfway across the country to Arizona and took on a Cardinals team that, I mean, some might think is a little down right now, but I think those guys have a lot of talent in a lot of places, especially at receiver. I mean, I think we all saw that with Hollywood Brown and those guys running around. But again, with Josh Dobbs at quarterback, kind of, you could see the Bengals just kind of over time just wore them out. And again, that's where they were at. But the biggest thing that came out of this, Joe Burrow was Joe Burrow. I think everybody saw a much different person, a much different quarterback, a much different player, not just in the way he physically played, but you could see the swagger and the juice come back whenever it was him and, Chase and all the other guys. I mean, Chase went off. Obviously, he set a franchise record for most receptions in a game, but which obviously I had no clue it was less than I think he had 15. I thought for sure at some point one of those guys that was there had something, AJ Green or Chad or TJ or somebody back in the day had some catches. But I mean, if you watched a lot of what he did, though, a lot of the catches were shorter catches. They weren't those. Now he had the bomb. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, there was a lot of shorter passes that he was able to make something happen out of, and he kind of got back to what he was. You'll notice when I talk about the offense, there's a lot of empty sets, a whole lot of empty sets. What does that mean? Well, go back to LSU, and Burrow wanted to be an empty because he sees the field better. It opens it up. It spreads everybody out. And again, you saw a lot of that this weekend. So, they're getting back to something that they're used to doing, and I think that's a good thing to look forward to. Now, the run game didn't live up to what we thought it could be. I really think it still has a chance to be potentially pretty good. Defense, had a better day compared to other days. Still had some issues in coverage, and they gave up 142 yards on the ground. So we'll get into that as we go. I do want to start with the defense. So what we'll do is I've got these grouped together. We're going to talk about run game review, coverage issues, some interceptions, and some that could have been, and then go and hit the quarterback a little bit. So starting out here, we're going to start out with the run review on defense. All right, so as we look at this first play, so if you want to talk about what kills a run play on defense, I can tell you number one, and it's a word that if you're on defense, you love it. If you're on offense, you hate it. It's penetration. All right, so what you're going to see is they're penetrating to set the edge right here. Oh, I went white tonight. Look at that. All right, go back to my good old trusty black. I like it there. Here we go. You'll see right here, Trey Hendrickson. So he's going to come across the line. He's going to set back and set the edge, but it's the penetration that kills this play. You see they're running an outside zone here, but because not only is the whole point of the outside zone, you see the rest of these guys right here, they're all pushing their guys kind of on an angle so that the back can run and then cut and find a seam. And everybody that knows football or has watched enough football understands the one thing that will kill this play is getting him to cut too early or getting him to bounce it because of the penetration right here. But that right there killed the play right there. And that's, again, it's simple. And we talked about fundamentals and getting back to fundamentals on defense. And I think that is a fundamental thing that they weren't doing necessarily on defense. But right there you can see how it causes him to have to make a cut before he wants to make a cut. And then obviously that's where all your guys are. So good job by Hendrickson setting the edge on the outside zone. Again, penetration is going to kill this play. Now, this is one of those plays that you're going to kind of go, well, why are you showing this play? This play is not good. This is not a good play for the Bengals. Well, here's the thing. Sometimes teams get a lucky break. And right here, this is a lucky break for Arizona. So as you see here, this penetration right here knocked off the pullers right here. So they're trying to pull the backside lineman here. Or you see that they're trying to get those guys to pull right there. And what ends up happening is, sorry, that's the center actually pulling, I believe. But you see that penetration up here? That killed the entire play. He just knocked off a puller. You got a blocker here that's not doing anything. Now, the thing is everybody's going to say, well, where's the backside contain? Technically, that's your backside contain. But here's the problem. they're reading this as if it's a zone read and the quarterback can pull it. Well, when the quarterback pulls it, you got to have a guy for the quarterback. So right here, he's actually in the right spot. He doesn't know that the quarterback doesn't have the ball right there. So he's playing the play as if the quarterback has the ball. So what's happening here is when all that penetration hit, the running back kind of spun out of this thing and came out back over here. You can see these guys think the play's over. I mean, I would too. These guys are still running over here. They're kind of confused as to what's going on because they're trying to play their gaps. And, here comes the running back out around here, and just happens to be, he gets turned just enough to where he can't make the play. Now, this is concerning right here. You've got the sideline as an extra defender, okay? You've got leverage on the runner. Go ahead and tackle him, put your head in front of him, and then just use the sideline as your next defender because you got guys coming to help. But he ends up going low right here, and he actually misses this tackle. That's a little concerning because that showed up in a previous game, and I wasn't necessarily saying it was him in particular, but when you've got a guy like that that's going and making, missing tackles like that, and again, it's going to come to bite you in the butt at some point if you're not careful with how you're doing that. But if you watch right here, watch the penetration by the end over here. See, they didn't get the down block, knocked off a puller. Again, it's a lucky play. Every once in a while, everybody gets them. That's one of those ones where you just keep playing. But again, it's this angle you take right here, and it's making that play right there. And you got it right there. That should be a tackle. And again, does this come back to haunt them too bad? It's an extra 7 yards. You don't know if that's going to be the case going forward. But now looking at this right here, so we're talking about outside zone again. Okay, now there's a bunch of arm tackles initially, but I wanted to put this one on here because I don't think I've seen. Excuse me, I didn't mean to draw that. I don't know if I've seen a tackle with this type of explosive ending with the running back right here. But right here, so you got arm tackles right here, which not great. And you can see he's trying to grab at the ball. Now it's that old trick you get when like your friend's standing there and then you go stand behind them or somebody goes and squats down behind them, like it's on all fours behind them, and you push them over them and they trip over you. I think that's what happened to my man, the running back right here. Cause look, you got the guy behind him, you got him here, and then he gets knocked right in the head and he shoots out of this thing. It's the craziest looking tackle. So I'm not real sure. Like, I don't know what made him do that. I don't know if he jumped backwards, but it's just the craziest timing of how it happened. It's like, dink. But anyway, I just thought, being a former running back coach, I thought that was an interesting thing. But we talked about the outside zone earlier. Now watch, here's the difference. You see how they got them moving? They've got them kind of hooked here, but you didn't get that stop right there like you got on that last one. So he can stretch it a little bit and he cuts it up. Now right there, that's a clear tackle. But see, he lunges at him. He doesn't bring his feet with him. Now again, Pratt's a great play. Come on now. There's a lot of plays that Pratt's going to make that I'm not going to sit here and complain about that kid not making plays. But now this is Wildcat. Okay, so when you're in Wildcat, and again, I want you to watch how this is the quarterback down here. This is how scary quarterbacks are when they leave the pocket. That's rough, isn't it? Getting paid a lot of money to go out there and do that. But when you get in Wildcat, what do teams do when you're in Wildcat? There's a couple things they can do. First off, you got a quarterback down here. Is he a pass threat? Is he a receiving threat? Probably not. Okay, so right now you put a guy on him and say, okay, good, he's done. Is this guy a passing threat? Now he might be. I don't know the background of all their skill guys on Arizona, but he might be a passing threat. If he's a passing threat, then you do need to stay in coverage. Like a Mohamed Sanu. For you Bengals fans that back a few years back, knew Mohamed Sanu. Mohamed Sanu was a passing threat. Obviously, he had the best completion percentage and quarterback rating in the history of the league with 10 attempts or whatever it was at one point. But what they're going to say is, okay, well, we don't need to go in coverage. Well, so what they do is they end up blitzing here. And when they blitz, you can see right here that they pick up the blitzer. Well, they've got like an around coming. Well, look what happens when the around comes. You get his attention. You get his attention. I want you to keep your eye right here. Now, I believe this guy got pulled at some point in the game. But as you watch, he fakes it and he comes around over here. Oh, I went red again. He fakes it again. Now they're all still running over here. Okay, watch his reaction right here. And then it's that. Now I don't understand. Again, this is not a Arizona Cardinals breakdown, but if you've got that much speed, why don't you just run? Just run. And I think the Bengals caught a break here because him slowing down, I think, lost him probably a good 20 yards, if not a touchdown. And I hate to say that, but that's the truth. But if you watch all the guys up front here, they're all looking back because they see this coming back around. And they're not even worried about these guys because they know they're going this way. You got him picked off. You got the blitzer picked off, and there he goes around the edge. And again, if you've got that much space with that much speed, if I'm coaching this guy, I would just say, come on, man. Like, use your speed. I do some breakdowns for LSU football, and LSU football has a quarterback, Jaden Daniels, and the other day he had like all this, and then all of a sudden he took off and went straight, and nobody could catch him. And I guarantee you this guy's faster than Jaden Daniels. But right there, again, I think the Bengals caught a little bit of a break right there. Now, going into coverage issues, there were some coverage issues. Now, when I talk about a mesh play, so I'm going to talk about 2 straight mesh plays here. So when we talk about mesh, you can see how why it's called a mesh is, think about, as you can look at my picture, you think about a mesh. You're meshed together. Well, there's mesh routes that go across each other, and you're trying to pick off man coverage. As you're running across, this guy is trying to pick this guy's man off as he runs across. So you'll see here as they're running, see how he's running here, and then this guy's coming underneath right here, and then this guy's going to run over here and probably sit over the ball. So you see how they're all running interference right there, and you can see all guys running into each other. That's why you run mesh. If you have a man play, that's why you run mesh. Now on this one, they had fly motion, and if you watch on the fly motion, let me bring it back just a touch. So on the fly motion, you can see he starts to run over. Well, he tells the corner over here, hey, listen, he's coming in motion. You take him, I'll take your guy. Well, what happens is when that happens, I want you to watch what happens, though. He gets caught up in all that mess right there. You see that? And he runs underneath. He gets caught up in all that mess. That's why you run mesh, and that's how he comes wide open. So, again, that's why you run that. So if and I see in there, I see Bengals captain, my dude. But hey, he says, "Wow, Madden never taught us about mesh." So let me tell you why on Madden. If you're playing a team that's playing man, run mesh all day long. All right, mesh will beat man coverage. That's a Madden play for sure, 100% for sure. That's a Madden play. But again, I mean, right there, I mean that's that's why you run mesh. Now I want to show you the second mesh they run. This one's from 13 personnel. When I say 13 personnel, you have 3 tight ends and a back. So you got 1 back and 3 tight ends, which, as you can see on the screen, that equals 13. It's just the number. It doesn't equal 13, but that's how you call it. So it's 13 personnel. So what they're going to do here now is they're going to run the same thought process of here, underneath, and what's going to end up happening is Logan Wilson, who's right here, loses his man, as you can see right there, and he's going to come free over here. And it's just, I think, a lot of eye candy. I hate that term eye candy, but I'm going to use it. So as you can see here, he's really got him. He's got him. And it's just kind of like it got somewhere in the mix. They thought they were passing it off, and they weren't. So the Cardinals used the mesh concept really well against the Bengals. And the thing you got to know is you got to know when you have man coverage. And that's what the Bengals did, or the Cardinals did a good job of, is knowing, okay, the Bengals are going to be in man coverage in this situation. So that's game planning. That's just doing a lot of work on your opponent. Now, this is 3rd and 9. Okay, so here's I believe this is the rookie kid that came in right here, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all can help me with his name in the chat, number 35. But let me tell you this much: that's Hollywood Brown right there. All right. Hollywood Brown has outside leverage, so he means he's outside of him. You see this? There you go. Thank you, Davis. Second. Okay, Jalen Davis, second-year guy. Okay. There's a couple of these young guys that I'm, not as familiar with, and I apologize for that. But right here, so he's outside leverage. Now what happens is he's going to give a slight inside move. Well, it makes him jump inside, and he then runs a slot fade right here. And you got to give this guy credit too. He's about to get blasted. He's got guys in his face, and he gets a pretty good throw off. But the fact that he's outside, he's trying to keep him from going outside. But he takes a little bit of a jab and then comes outside, and you'll see it right here. See, it just does a little bitty inside move, and that's what leads to that. And again, that's the small window, small difference between a really, really good receiver and somebody, a young defensive back. But again, I'll show you this from the back with you want some punt film? I see you. We'll bring up some punt film later. Yeah. I'm glad y'all were watching. I appreciate it. But watch this though. See, look where where he threw that ball from. Now, credit where credit's due. Now, appreciate football when you watch this show. Appreciate football. Appreciate just what it is. That's a really good throw. You got to just give the guy credit. All right. And again, that's just a probably a little bit more talented of a guy running a route. Now, interceptions and could have beens. Okay, I didn't know how else to put this, but interceptions or could have beens. Okay, so here is an interception. Now, who in the chat would agree right now that this play right here changed the entire season for the Bengals? Not just the game. I think this play changed the entire season because when you come out and it's 14-10 right after halftime, it's 14-10, and you see that there's okay, man, they're playing well, but they're not necessarily pushing it over the edge. This play right here, I think, pushed it over the edge. Now, what happened was they're running us it looks to me like he's running a slant, but he's running like a sit route, which doesn't make much sense because they're both running into the same spot. So one of the two guys is wrong, or they're running a wrap concept, and he was just way too short on his route. Either way, he overthrew his guy. So if you watch what goes on right here, that ball's up here. He overthrew him. So I'm not sure if he's thinking he's throwing to him. It's hard to tell, but here's what happened. You just had just enough overthrow. And this was a very, very this is an NFL interception by all means. And I'll try to pause it. That ball, I don't know. There's no way. There's zero chance he followed that ball from the quarterback's hands. That ball literally found him. But the fact that he pulled that in, I know it threw him right at him. It hit him right at him. But I'm just telling you the way he caught it. And again, I think it was a mess up on the Cardinals' part. I do think that was not a planned route that they had going on there. But again, they got a lucky one. Every once in a while, the Bengals get one too. So either way, interception, pick six, change the season. 4th and 2. Okay, this is towards the end of the game. This is man coverage, and Pratt's going to end up covering the flat. So this is Pratt right here. He's going to end up covering the flat here to the guy who goes to the flat. But once he sees the ball gets thrown, he falls off of his receiver, the back here. So he's following the back to the flat. So he's going to the flat. Once he sees the ball thrown, see, he just kind of, okay, he doesn't have to cover his guy anymore. Ball's thrown, so he starts peeling off back here. And this is an unbelievable effort. This is that tip brawl drill because they always say tips and overthrows. Well, this is a tip and an overthrow. This is a tip. Boom. I don't think he got hurt on it. They probably just knocked the breath out of him. Let me get to Bengals captain's question here. How often are routes expected to be rounded like that so the wide receiver maybe got to the spot too quickly? I will tell you this. You're not going to have two receivers going in the same place at the same time. And if you watch, just watch this. We'll go back to it real quick. It's a good question. You got him sitting right here, and you got him running right behind him. Normally, if you've got a slant, you want him somewhere over here. You want him in this area. If you've got him sitting here, you want him a little deeper because you're trying to like do a high-low on somebody in between. But to have a guy run right behind him, like 2 yards behind him, I think that's just the receiver doing something not right. Because if you watch this next play, not even in the same category, but if you watch the spacing of the receivers, you see how you got a receiver here. You got a receiver here. There's spacing of the receivers, and in all reality, it's you can't have two. Like if this guy was to be right here, what good does that do? One guy can cover two, and that's why the spacing out of routes has got to be correct. And again, going back to this one though, I mean, that's an unbelievable effort by a guy, and that wasn't even his coverage. That wasn't even the guy he was covering, which is pretty amazing because you'll see him. He's actually covering the back. So when the ball's thrown, he peeled off of his guy to try to go help. And then that ball's up in the air, and he said, you know what? I probably got some contract stipulation here. Well, I'm going to go get me an interception. Boom. All right, hey, look at the excitement, man. I mean, these kind of things, even though it was 4th and 2, and it probably would have been better for yardage-wise if you just let it hit the ground, the excitement level that these kind of things bring to a sideline, you can't put a yardage on any of that. And I know that's a stupid thing to say. That y'all can tweet that out there if you want to. You can't put a yardage amount on the excitement of the sideline. There you go. Boom, I just made one up. All right, so going to the next one. This is 3rd and 4. Now, this is one hole coverage, and Logan Wilson dang near brings one in. Now, what's going to happen is they're playing cover one here. So, and when I say one, they're playing, so they got one high, one deep safety, and they're playing a hole coverage. So these two guys right here are really in charge of that guy. And if this guy were to go over here, then he kind of falls back in here, and he looks for crossers. He looks to help out on anything underneath. If this guy were to go over here, then this guy does the same thing. They just kind of pass it off. So it depends on which guy they go to. But this guy ends up going across, so Logan Wilson's kind of passing him off, playing the hole player. And you can see right there, he just like sits right in front of this route right here, hits him right in the hands. And now watch this. This really is funny. He actually picks it up and like tries to hand it back to him. Here, you want it? I'd love to know what was being said right there, because the funny thing is, these guys are just out there having fun at this point. They're like, dude, here's the ball. You want it? Like, you should have had it. This could have been yours, But if you watch, you'll see, like, when this guy passes by, he will kind of then see how he's passed him by, so he knows he's taking him over. So now he's just going to fall back into here, and, I mean, this hits him right in the hand right there, and he has it in his hand right there. He has it. And unfortunately, that's why he plays defense. You can see he's trying to hand him the ball right there. I mean, look at the. He's like, come on, man, you gotta be able to hold on to that. So, it's kind of fun to watch the reactions of these guys. Now moving on to sacks and quarterback hits. All right, second play of the game. And if any of y'all were watching the game, did any of y'all listen to? I know some of y'all were at the game, but if you were watching the game on TV, I believe Mark Sanchez was calling the game, and he had a lot to say. He honestly had a lot to say during the game. One of the things he did say that made a lot of sense is, if you ever run a naked as a quarterback, there's basically two things you can't do. You can't stop running. Like, you got to keep moving. You got to stay on the move, and you cannot take a sack on a naked. It's just bottom line. Don't take a sack on a naked. Now, and that drives me crazier than anything too. Now, it's like a sack on a naked or a sack in 2-minute drill. It's just like the cardinal sin of offensive football. But if you look here, so he's going to end up nakeding up, but he's going to like half roll, and he's going to kind of stop right here. Well, if you stop, because here's the thing, you got a dude running wide open, and again, I'm not trying to hit on the Bengals coverage here on this one actually, but if he just keeps moving over here, he'll be able to see that guy running across the field. And again, he just throws this second play of the game, but instead, second play of the game ends up being a sack. Here's the thing about a naked. Now, what's the rules of throwing a ball away? I think everybody understands if you're outside of the tackle box and you throw the ball past the line of scrimmage out of bounds, it's legal. You can do that. So you're outside the tackle box. You're about to get tackled. Just chunk that ball as far as you can past the line of scrimmage out of bounds right there, and don't take a sack. But again, hey, look at the gang tackling right there of the Bengals. And, I think I put this more on Josh Dobbs, but again, you just got to be, there's still guys. I guarantee you that Lou Anarumo and the defensive staff, Rob Livingston and all those guys, they're still concerned. They're more concerned. Yeah, great, you got a sack. I guarantee you they're more concerned about how they're going to get those guys covered from here on out, because as an offensive coach watching this film, you're going to go, well, shoot, man. I mean, how did they get that guy so wide open? And that's where we've got to, as the Bengals, they've got to just kind of find a way to get those guys covered and do those kind of things. Now, 3rd and 10. This is a mugged zero blitz look. This was not a sack, but this is a great job of figuring out how to what are they going to do when you show all up and you've got cover zero here, which means there is nobody in the back. That's what cover zero means. If you ever see a zero blitz, cover zero. That means there's no safeties in back. Cover 2 has 2 safeties. Cover 1 has 1 safety, yada, yada, yada. So point being is this. You've got a cover zero look. Now, this ends up actually being, I believe, a 3 deep, and they'll drop out a couple guys down here. It ends up being a 3 deep fire zone, which means they're bringing they're not doing 3 deep, 4 under. They're doing 3 deep, 3 under with 5 rushers. Anyway, okay, that's a whole nother story. But what they're doing is they're going to go 7-man protection. They're going to leave the tight end in. They're going to bring the back over, and they're going to full slide the line all over there, and they're building a wall. He'll block a guy, and then he'll come fill in. Well, the problem is there's what you can't really tell here, but there's 2 defensive backs outside of the tight end here, and what ends up happening is when they do this full slide, well, there's 2 guys right here. So they figured, okay, we can get them to slide and block the back over here. Well, I'm going to do a little quick math here. Now, again, some of y'all are going to be like, well, you went to A&M, but there's 1 back, there's 2 guys. I think they have more guys than they have blockers. So that's as easy. I'm telling y'all, when I try to tell y'all football's simple. Could y'all have figured that out? I think y'all could have, but a lot of teams will end up putting that DB over here. Well, what that does is they can full slide the line over there. There's only 1 DB over here. Back comes over here, blocks him, boom. You got it picked up, which I'm going to show you that later. That's actually a Bengals thing. So what's going to end up happening here is they're going to get a free runner because they had 2 on the back, and honestly, dang near causes a fumble. It wouldn't have mattered. Obviously, they recovered it. But if you notice here, there's 2 guys technically outside of the tight end. Well, he's got to block down here because everybody's sliding. Slide here, slide here, slide here, slide here, slide here. So, look, you've consumed those 5 guys right there. Tight end has to go down on the known rusher. That's the big guy. The guy that you do not want to back blocking. I believe that's Sam Hubbard. You don't want to back blocking Sam Hubbard. Okay, trust me, he was on the team when I was there. You don't want to back blocking Sam Hubbard. Now the back's got to come across here, and guess what? You got 2 guys. Now watch what they do. This is really pretty cool. So watch when guys set at him. Watch a guy set at Hendrickson. Hendrickson's dropping. He's dropping. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it looked like Hubbard might have dropped or one of these other guys. But they've got like the known, like Hubbard, Hendrickson, you got a dropper here, and all of a sudden you got, look, this is a great game plan. Again, I'm spending a lot of time on this because I love protections, but I want you to watch the left guard. Watch this guy. You've got this guy coming over here, and he's got 2 guys to block. I want you to watch how many guys this guy blocks. He's blocking nobody. That's a good. Oh, I said it's a good. It's a great protection beater blitz because you got 1 guy blocking nobody. You got 2 guys blocking nobody, 3 guys blocking nobody, and your quarterback getting blasted because there was 2 on the running back. So, there's ways to beat things. Now, I want to tell you this. This is the easiest way to beat things. How much did they pay Hendrickson? Somebody in the chat would know this. Now, hold on. I just see a question here. My question for Kyle after we wrap up defense is what Lou should do going up against Seattle. I got you. I'll come back to that. Now, I think they paid Hendrickson quite a bit of money a couple years ago, and I think they're getting their money's worth out of him. This is how you don't even have to scheme this up. You just go, hey, Hendrickson, run around this dude and go sack the quarterback. I got 2 straight for you here. There's not much Caskey's clicker I can do right here. Chatterbox clicker here I can do to say anything different other than the fact that, hey, you just ran around the guy. And, again, they're play actioning. And a lot of times you tell the back, hey, help out if you can. Well, he's so far up the field. I mean, I don't know how the back's going to help out without knocking the tackle off right there. And, again, look, sack fumble. And your buddy gets a recovery. Now, here's the next one. Again, whoop. Now this one's kind of crazy. He grabs him with one arm, then pulls him back to him, and he actually puts the suplex on him. So all you WWE fans or you wrestling fans, so he grabs him right, he swipes at him, then he comes back and he gets him, and he suplexes him. I'll show it to you from the end zone. This is just kind of fun. Now I get into all the little nuances that people do here because watch, he beats him. Now, again, how does he beat him? Is one arm longer than 2? So you get him here, swipe him down with that one arm, and now his 2 arms are down, and you've got him beat. Now you can run around him. Now he's got that one arm bull. Now he reaches, swipes, misses. Nope, still got you, buddy. And then, bam, put him in the little suplex. I know that wasn't a great suplex, but it was a pretty, it's as close as you're going to get when you got a bunch of big dudes with pads on around you. Get him here, suplex him, think. So that's the Bengals defense. Honestly, I think they look pretty good. I mean, if you really want to talk about, a team that, has had its issues over the past few weeks. I got the question asked a minute ago, what are they going to do against Seattle? Well, Seattle's got the same type of quarterback. Geno Smith's played a lot of football now, and the Seahawks have been known to run the ball too. So you got to be able to you got to play the run, but you got to be careful with the play actions. That was something they had last week with Tennessee, was biting on the play actions too quickly and then letting those guys get behind the defense. So Arizona didn't have nearly as many play actions this week. They had more of the nakeds and things like that, but if you get the play actions off the run game with Geno Smith, and then if you get some of those read zones where they're running RPOs and he can kind of run or throw, which I've seen some of that, that's where they've just got to, everybody's got to be sound in what they're doing. It might take you out of some blitzes just because you kind of get, a little not gap sound when you're blitzing, but that's okay. Just play your game. Make sure you got the guys covered, and obviously you see what the front dudes can do when you let them do what they can do. Just let them play. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff on the front line right here. Now I'm going to move into the offense, and before I move into the offense, I want to make a point of this. All right, the Bengals have missed a few things from Burrow in the past 4 weeks. And everybody says, well, it's movement. He's not stepping into his throw, things like that. I want you to watch the way they start the game. Okay, the way they start the game is not by accident. And people want to give Zach and Callahan and those guys a hard time with game planning. But I will say this. This game plan was well done. This game plan was built around Joe Burrow. It was built around Jamar Chase. It was built around getting a rhythm built for those guys early. We used to do that when I was with Cincinnati. I know Jay Gruden was big into getting the ball to A.J. Green, Jermaine Gresham, those kind of guys early and often to get them in a rhythm, get Andy in a rhythm. And some of it was off a run game. So I want you to watch what they're doing here to get a rhythm going. So when we talk about that, take a look at this. So this is the first play of the game. All right, so we're going to talk about a fast start and finding rhythm. Okay, so this fast start it's a 1st and 10, first play of the game, easy completion. All this is they're running a basic here. They're running a little spot route and a flat. All right, and I believe they're running just hitches over here. I mean, it's just simple stuff. It's not a deep throw. It's not a run. It's just a very simple, just, kind of zone beater. You just kind of pick your poison here. But he literally just looks right over here to the left, and you go to the one target you're going to throw to first play of the game, Trenton Irwin. I think everybody agrees with that, right? Now, Trenton Irwin is the treasure of this offense because he can come in for any of these dudes if any of them go down. He has done it. He did it in the past. He did it last year. He's going to do it again. He did it in this past week. But look, that's a simple play. Now, instead of being 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 8, you ran the ball, got 2 yards or whatever. Now you're, I believe, 2nd and 1. Now, second play of the game. All right, here's that play from the end zone. But you watch the he just boom boom throw it, ball's out of his hands. Hey, got a good start. Again, rhythm. Rhythm is one of the biggest things you're going to hear me talk about. Now, this is the second play of the game. This is actually a run that's called here. And what you're going to see is that this is something that goes back to LSU. And if he knows he can get this little 5-yard quick out right here thrown to him, he'll throw it to him. And that literally, when I tell you that goes back to LSU, that's something they did. And they're good at, and that's Chase up there, obviously. But if you watch here, that guy bails, and the second he sees this out of his periphery, and you can see he actually rides the fake just a touch, and then he says, "Nope, I'm throwing it out here." Again, simple. It's a 10-yard pass play. It's a 10-yard reception on a run call. All he did was have a 5-yard little quick out over there. But again, it's rhythm. When I'm telling you that, like right now, Burrow's feeling himself. Okay, now is Mixon mad they didn't hand the ball off? Probably not, because I know Joe. But that's simple. It's simple. It got him in rhythm, and they're getting back to what they're doing. And you can see it doesn't bother his calf. Like everybody thinks his calf is crazy out of whack. Now, you see this? That's Joe Burrow's best friend. Joe Burrow loves empty formations. And what I mean by empty, there are no running backs in the backfield. So it's just him. Now, I see Tony says his calf is fine. I agree with you that. I tweeted that out actually during the game. I was like, hey, Burrow's healthy. But what they're doing, though, is they're getting back. Now they're actually trusting it, and they're getting back to it. So there was a point where I don't think they were trusting it. Sorry, I just headbutted my microphone. Now, right here, this is 2nd and 11. This is an empty triple slant. So he's going to run like a little slant here, and it looks like this. I know that he's not running a slant on the outside, but there's 3 little in slant runners. So you got kind of a quick slant, a slant. So a quick slant here, a slant, and like a little shin, short end. All right. So what he's going to end up doing, he just goes over and he picks the guy he wants to throw to, and I want you to watch the quickness of the release. Again, how many yards is that? That's easily okay. They're on the 32. Look how simple of a pass it is. It's just a slant, and that's a 13-yard gain. And again, everybody says Chase. Oh, Chase had this great big day. He had big catches. Chase did that all day, and if Chase can do that all day, then you're good. Now I've labeled this next part as Burrow is back. Okay, so and here's the end zone of that one. But you can see the quick release. I mean, that's what you're used to seeing. So I wrote this as Burrow is back. And I just want to show y'all why there's little things I see in this that not necessarily maybe you're seeing it. Maybe I'm not giving you enough credit for it. But if you watch this, he shows he can push the ball with a long timing throw to Chase. Now, this is with confidence. Now, where's Jamar Chase? Jamar Chase is right here, okay? But watch how long of a throw this is. So he's breaking it out here. That ball's out of his hand basically right now. So even though he knows he's breaking under this, because he knew the route concept right here. He knew he would have those guys, and this guy would be rolling over. It's kind of like that mesh thing. They're kind of making a pick right here. But if you watch, that is a long throw, and it's on a dot. It's right on a line. And, again, it's a timing throw. Like Chase is just now getting out of his break, and that ball's right there. It's a timing throw. It's a long throw. It's on a line. And again, that's where I'm telling you, like, you're seeing things that you weren't seeing the first few weeks. And that, like, y'all may not think as you watch this on TV, that's just a normal throw. That's a long throw. I mean, to be a timing throw and a guy running out like that, it just takes a lot of confidence to throw that ball. This is a sack. Okay. I talked about this actually on Chatterbox, this morning, but this is a sack. But I want you to watch this man right here hop around like a little bunny rabbit back here. All right. Breaks out of that one. Now watch this. Ding, ding. I'm going to hop around. Yeah, he takes a big hit. And you know what? He got right back up, finished the game. Now, there are issues here. I get it. There's issues to talk about with protections. Like right here, you can't – you see that? That's not the position you want your tackle to be sitting in. That is off balance. That is overstepping, and then right there, that's called opening the gate. That's letting all the cows in right there. You're opening the gate right there. See how he's leaning back and he's turned his hips. You have no power, and then now he's crossing over. And I guarantee you that's not what's being taught. But for him to hop, skip and jump, boom, take a hit and get up. Now, done. So that's that play. Sorry, my telestrator was going a little nuts there. So this is zero pressure. Okay, so there's going to be this guy's actually going to come free here because they didn't check the protection here, and they end up having just 6-man protection. Normally, what you'd like to say is, okay, you'd like to maybe turn the line this way, check the protection, have the back go back over here, have him come back over here. But right now, so they're all set, and so that they will end up taking those 4 and this guy. That's the line. And the back will take him. So the line will take those 4 and that guy. The back's going to take him. Now this guy's going to come free. Now watch the patience he has, though. He knows that guy's free. And he throws this ball. Now watch when this ball is thrown. I'm gonna pause it when he throws it. Chase isn't even looking. He's not even out of his break yet. That to me is a sign of two guys. Number one, two guys that have been doing this for years together. Another thing is that's confidence in your throwing. To have a guy you have a free runner. I guarantee you Burrow knew he had a free runner right now. He knows there's a free runner. Mixon blocks his. Everybody's blocking their guys. You got guys on, you got body on body except for him. You just don't have another body for him. It's a uno mas blitz, one more for y'all non-Spanish speakers. I've been doing some Spanish training lately, Every once in a while you might need to know how to ask for your margarita or your cerveza. So you got to kind of figure that out. All right, now Burrow is going to scramble here for 10 yards. I know a lot of people started talking about this play, and I believe there was another play that he scrambled. But the fact that he stepped up in the pocket, this is something you didn't see the past couple of weeks. I don't know why. Maybe you just didn't have confidence in it. But when you do this, and then smart enough to slide. Now, I do want to make a point for any of y'all that played baseball. When you slide, there's still a lot of impact upon your calf, and this will be the last show I hopefully have to talk about his calf. But again, I want you to watch the swagger. He's feeling it. When you start feeling it, you start doing things like this, and that's not on accident. That's something that he's wanting to get out to the rest of the team. So again, you're talking about. Just sitting back in the protection. No, not great. I mean, yeah, you're getting pushed back. You got a guy running in your face. But look, I mean, he finds a hole, gets back out, and goes and gets a big play. Now, this is an overloaded mug front coming up here. And when you remember when I was talking about earlier about, trying to figure out different ways to adjust protection. So that's a tight end back here. So he's got the tight end coming in here to adjust the protection. Now, I want you to watch, but that's not even the whole thing, but just the point that he was able to do that. We talked about turning two. So when a shortstop turns two, he catches, or a second baseman turns two, he catches, and it's like the ball's out of his hand right as he catches it. Watch him catch this ball and turn two. I mean, that's about as good as you're going to get from a quarterback right here, because you got to think about it. You got to catch the ball, number one. You don't have to necessarily get the laces, but you got to turn your whole body over there and still throw. These flat throws are not easy throws. I know it looks like an easy throw, but this is probably one of the harder throws for quarterbacks to perfect in their careers, these little short, flat throws. But again, Jamar Chase, getting them the ball. Boom, done. But again, you can watch him throw this ball. But watch, he changes the protection. He gets them going here. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4. He blocks him. He blocks him. So he got the protection fixed. And really here, you just kind of, get the ball to your player. Jess, más cerveza, por favor. I agree. Muy bien. All right, now looking forward here to the next play. We're talking about I talked about that long throw a little while ago. Now this is another long throw. And you can see, I might be making too big a deal about this, but the ball's out of his hand right here. He's out of his break. I mean, you still got a guy sitting here. You got a guy wide open here. But he says, no, I'm going to throw this pass right here to my man, Trenton Irwin, the playmaker. Guy's all over the field. Can't stop him. But again, just the fact that, he's in here and he's, that's the normal throw right there. So that's not what you've been seeing. Got the ball out. I think it's a good case to say we can, move on from that. Now, I want you to show the quick release. Again, that might be quicker than the last one. This is an unbelievably quick release. And again, it's just a quick screen. Boom. Get the ball out. Make something happen. Get all your big boys in front of Chase. But the quickness in which you do that, and again, how do you block that many guys up front? How do you block all these guys? I'm going to show you a little trick. You don't. that might be the best. That's the best blocking method for an exotic blitz, is just don't block them. Just push them by and go to get somebody else downfield. So, one of my favorite blocking schemes is the non-block them scheme. Now, some sacks here. There were a couple issues here. So, Arizona was running this double A front, which means they got two linebackers in the A gaps. The A gaps are the gaps next to the center here. So those gaps are covered by two linebackers, and they put their D lineman out a little bit wider, and then they've got an extra dude down here. And so what they're going to do is you're going to see they're going to walk the back up. And this is called, it's kind of like some people call it Abby protection. And it puts the back on him, and these guys are basically sliding to the widest, and these two got these two. Well, what's going to end up happening is you're going to get a twist game on Volson here and Brown, and it's just, you're consuming, the back is consumed here. So you see he checks the play, cans the play. And again, this is going to come up in a minute. You see how he's touching his head. When you're touching your head like this, that's their way of saying, we had 2 plays called in the huddle. We called 2 plays breaking the huddle. We're going to the second one. We're canning it. Why do they call it a can? Because you threw the first one in the can. You threw the first one in the trash can. Some people call it a kill. You killed the first play. Alert. Hey, alert, alert. We're going to the second play, or whatever the case is. But right here, they're coming up, and you can see right here, it's when you're pushing through right here, he's got to get back now. This guy's doing this. He's got to then push, step back, get back, take him over. He's got to push him off and then drop. He's really got to lose. He's got to push him off, lose a little ground, and get this guy picked up right about there. And he's got to lose a little ground and kick back in. And right there, see, he's trying to kick in. See how he's kicking that foot in? And, he never gets the full pass off right here. And that's how you end up getting a free runner right there. So, again, that's something they just got to get fixed. That's not something that you sit there and scheme against. That's a technique issue. Now, this is a 4-man rush. And, again, it's the same thing here. I'll just go to the end zone right here of this one. I believe this is just going to be this right here. It's the same thought process of – no, here, I'm sorry, it's these two right here. I knew it was on it. But so right here. Now his guy, if Orlando Brown sees his guy do this, he's got to lose ground to come in to kick inside. He's got to say go, 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 and he's got to lose ground and get back in. But look at Volson's hips. Volson's hips are facing that way. The problem is if your hips are facing that way, how are you going to get them back to facing that way to pick this guy up when he comes back around? It's hard to do. And again, they don't get that passed off. And that's a cheap free runner right here on the quarterback. And that's not something you really necessarily want to see your quarterback getting. You could tell the frustration a little bit on Burrow's face there after this play right here when he hits the ground. And again, would I be frustrated? Sure, and you just kind of see like he's frustrated. Now people are gonna. I hear this sometimes. I want to while I got it here address this. People are going to say, well, why didn't Mixon pick that guy up? That's not Mixon's guy, okay? As the running back, yes, there may be some times where we tell him on the way out, hey, look for twists and games, but Joe's trying to get over the ball. I mean, his guy didn't blitz. That's not his protection issue. So just that's not me sticking up for Joe, but maybe it is, and that's okay. If your friends won't stick up for you, who is. So all right, now let's look at interception. Now this is going to be basically a 4 vert. So Trent Irwin's going to come here. He's going to trip. He might trip over that 35-yard line. Sometimes these yard lines, they get a little. They have hands that stick up and they grab you and they trip you. And he might have tripped over this guy, but anyway, he ends up tripping and he falls down. Joe Burrow actually gets this pass tipped. This pass gets tipped somehow. It gets or his arm gets hit, but you can see he falls down. Is this illegal contact? I don't know if you can call it that. I think it's more like incidental. I think that's more incidental contact. Illegal contact would be if you actually put your hands on him and tried to knock him off. Right here, I don't think that's necessarily what's happening. I think that's just literally an incidental contact, and the guy just happened to be there. Now, if he doesn't fall down, let's just say he doesn't fall down, and he's running this route right here, and this ball still gets thrown right here, I'm not sure that's not an interception anyways. So point being is this, I think if you watch the end zone, I really feel like this ball, see how his arms hit right there, and I don't think this ball came out with the full force and trajectory of what he wanted to throw it with. So, again, it's part of it, and stuff happens, and you just gotta embrace the suck sometimes whenever things don't go your way, and get better. All right, now the Burrow to Chase connection. So this is one of the things that I think is going to be the key to the Bengals season now is the Burrow Chase connection. If the Burrow and Chase connection can continue to do what it's doing, that they did in this game, it's going to go a long way. So, apologize. Had a nice practice today out there in the Louisiana heat. Everybody thinks it's cold here though. It's like 72 degrees outside, and everybody's like got their jackets on. And so, if y'all ever come down to Louisiana from Cincinnati or wherever, obviously 72 is not cold. I'm just trying to tell y'all. Aaron Edamika, number 90 for the Denham Springs Yellow Jackets. Told him I'd give him a shout out. So there you go. There's your shout out, Aaron Edamika. Now this is a touchdown that Burrow had here. Now this is just an inline. This is a scramble. This ends up being a scramble, and Chase is just running the end line, and what the end line means that's the goal line, that's the end line back here. And we always tell people I want to say it might be 3 now, but it used to be 2 yards here and 2 yards here. So you had 2 yards at the top of the letters right there, and I think this was 6 yards. It may still be the same. I can't really tell. It doesn't really look like it, but you'll see he's running the end line now. He pulls back around right here, and I want you to just watch. For some odd reason, they have this weird connection because watch when he pulls up to throw this ball. He pulls up to throw this ball. He's barely even broken back, but he knows right now, boom. I mean, you don't coach that type of play. That's backyard football. So, again, that Burrow to Chase connection, the fact that he, broke the pocket, kept calm, and then just leaned back and dropped a touchdown to him. It's just scramble drill, straight up scramble drill. I mean, it's nothing to that. You can sit there and go, man, that was a well drawn up play. Yeah, that's not the play they drew up. That was after the play they drew up. Now this is another Omaha throw, or if you want to call it a 5-yard out. Some people call it Omaha, but like right there, it's just this little thing right here. Again, why would he throw this ball right here? What would make you want to throw something in that area? Well, there ain't nobody there. First guy is 10 yards off of him. So if you're going to play 10 yards off Jamar Chase, you know what Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are going to do? Dink and dunk it to you right there. It was 2nd and 4. Now it's 1st and 10. 8-yard gain. Again, it's simple stuff they're doing. This is not rocket surgery or brain science, all right? And yes, I know that's backwards. I have a lot of dad jokes these days. Now, the next one is, I want to show you this. This is a Max Pro. This is a Max Protection. All right, 2-man route. So it's really a 2-man route. It's Max Protection right here. This is now this one's crazy to me because I want you to watch how far. He comes from over here, and then he runs to the back here. He runs all the way across the back of the end zone. But it's Max Protection again, like I said, and Burrow just stays calm. They got 2 guys in coverage on him. He just kind of keeps coming. And, hey, there you are, buddy. Was that the design of the play? No, I don't think so. I mean, if it is, good for them, man. They figured that one out. But, again, there you go. Just, hey, scramble. Hey, make something happen. Hey, there you just come running across the back of the end zone. Again, it goes back to covering your best players. Take their fastball away from them, I think is one way some people have said it. Well, Chase is the fastball. And, if you don't want to take him away, that's fine. Now, this is Tyler Boyd right here, okay? I just want to make a point of that because I don't think anybody's pointed this out. Tyler Boyd is going to be in the 8-man protection here. All right, if you have 8-man in protection and you have a quarterback, that's 9. How many receivers does that leave you? 2. This is a lockdown concept. So he's going to run. He's going to kind of lock down right here. Chase is running like kind of a deep cross, or what we used to call a beeline, like you're beelining it for that front pylon back there. And what they're trying to do is you'll see this, he's going to come across, tight end's going to come across. But look, Tyler Boyd's in protection. Look at that. Now he hits in the releases, but still. But look, so he locks down. What did him locking down do? Him locking down, this is cover 2. This guy's supposed to be back here. That got him to bite just enough to let Chase. Really, in all reality, I think most teams would have run and thrown the ball right here. But I want you to watch where Burrow throws this ball. Chase is kind of running to that. See, he's kind of running to that front pylon. He's kind of running right at that front pylon. But watch where this ball, he's going to actually curve back a little bit and catch this ball. This is a well-tracked ball. But the fact that he just outrun cover 2 by himself, like he had no, I mean, yeah, you could say that other route helped him out. I'm not sure if this, I guess his daddy didn't get this ball, but maybe he did. I don't know. But this is really cool from this angle right here. So Burrow's going to play action fake. Look at the protection, guys. I mean, that all it takes. I've mentioned it before. People have asked me what can they do to help the protection. All you got to do is move the pocket just a little bit and let him set up over here. Get you an edge protection. Slam him, let him go, and it really, look at this. It's simple. It's a simple just half roll play action, and look at the space he has, and he lets this thing launch. Now look, see where he's at right there. Watch where he catches his ball. I mean, that's big time. That's Jamar Chase. So lucky for the Bengals, they have him and others don't. So again, that was a big time play. But again, it goes back to doing something different with your protection to allow him to throw it that deep. Yeah, that's why they hadn't been throwing deep, because they couldn't get they didn't have time to do it. Now you get those kind of half roll play actions, those semi roll play actions, and it allows you to throw it deep. And it's again, it's simple stuff, but it's, why aren't they doing more of it? I don't know. Now we're going to go into, this is Burrow being in control. And again, this is a lot of this stuff I say is Brady-like. Okay. And I know somebody mentioned Brady in the comments right there, that from Tom Brady's playbook. Yeah, you say, yeah, that's fine. This looks like Tom Brady. You've got kind of that all up look. It's not zero-ish yet. It doesn't look like zero like earlier, but you got all these guys up there. But look at how he just went up there and told everybody, I'm changing the protection. Now, again, see how they brought these guys off this side and not off of this side? So they slid the protection right into it right here. And look at the wall that got built, and you got the back to help right here. And it allows you to throw a freaking like dart right there to Boyd. See this one from the end zone. Now, again, can't do that. But see how he's changing protection. So right here he's saying whatever the name of this protection is. So it's full slide here. I believe he was blocking him, and the back comes over and helps out. But right now, they know right now we're all in protection now, so y'all stay in. So those two, going here. They're going to push all the way out. They keep pushing through. And look, you got everything picked up. And you got time to throw it. Now look at this. Look at this ball. I mean, that's pretty right there, because that's an anticipation. That's the anticipation of the speed of Tyler Boyd and them being able to do that. Now, this goes back to earlier. I talked about canning a play. Well, he canned this play, and the back didn't get it. Okay, and I hate to end. This is actually the one I'm ending on, but he's supposed to hand the ball off right here. And you can see everybody else is blocking the run. They're all blocking the run. And I believe it's just supposed to be duo. But I want you to watch the reaction of this. That's Brady-like. To talk to your players, see right there, see you can see him can the play at the very, at the right at the beginning of the end zone. You can see he's canning the play. He has to know that. And here's what I always said about running backs. Running backs are standing right next to the quarterback. Y'all ought to know everything that's going on back there. You have no reason to miss something. You have no reason to not hear the cadence. You're standing right next to him. And so, it's one of those things where, come on, guys, you get it right. And again, I can't give that. He did go to A&M, so, I've got to give my love back here. But point being, what I wanted to say, though, was watch the intensity. Like right here. Yeah, you're yelling at your guy, but sometimes they need to be yelled at, and I'll make a point of that every time I see it. And, but I think right there, again, did that play lose the game for him? Absolutely not. But again, that's a play that shouldn't happen. But again, he was able to, get into his head right there. I'm just looking back through the chat here. Again, they're talking about, Chase. I see back there talking about Chase changing his route. Chase didn't change his route. He just ran to where it was open. And he's like, and then Burrow put it where he needed to, and they went and made the adjustment. Like I said, I think he was running at the front pylon, and it just was like that's where the play took him. And sometimes that happens. It's not people make too big of a deal about these adjustments. If you're running a route and the quarterback throws it to you and you're that wide open, you go get the ball and you score a touchdown, great. If he would have thrown it a little bit in front of him and he caught it and he ran right at the front pylon, great. But if you're that wide open, you've got options and they can throw it where they need to throw it. And it's one of those things where, I don't want to look too far into it with that. But, going back a little bit here, Jamar's just a little faster than Wes Welker and Julian Edelman were. Yeah, I'll disagree with that. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what his 40 time is, but I can tell you right now, Wes Welker and Julian Edelman were quick. There's a difference between being quick and being fast. Jamar Chase to me is fast. Like Julian Edelman, I was with Danny Amendola in Detroit, and Danny Amendola was quick. Now, was he faster than me? Of course, but like, it was all that little, short area quickness that would, beat people. It wasn't that he was faster than anybody, and that's the same thing with those guys. Now looking forward, again, this week Seattle's coming to town. Seattle has kind of been down, it seems like, the last few years, but this year they're playing some ball now, and Geno Smith's playing well. They got the run game going. They got the Legion of Boom halfway back. I guess it's kind of coming back. I was with Quadre Diggs in Detroit. Really, really, really good player. A good leader in that backfield, or in the secondary for Seattle. So I know defensively they're going to be on point. They're running. They haven't veered too far from Pete Carroll's original defense. So it'll be one of those things where they'll come in. You'll know what they're doing. They're not going to do anything spectacular, and you just got to kind of not let them beat you down and just kind of, like we were talking about, just kind of break your will after a while. Don't let them break your will. You got to go and keep attacking. It might be a more boring game on offense. It just might be. Now, I will say they play a lot of cover 3 in what they, at least in what they used to play. I haven't studied them much this year, but I know the cover 3 is a big deal. And when you're playing cover 3 with Seattle, they've been burnt up the seams, and the Bengals got some seam runners. So we'll see if if Seattle does that, and the Bengals. But the Bengals, if they want to hit those seams, and when I say seams, you have go routes on the outsides, and seams kind of go up the hashes, and it's those inside goes. And when you're playing a cover 3 look, you'll have a safety, and a corner, a safety, and a corner, and right in between them there's an alley right there, and that's where you hit them at. And I know when we played them, I want to say it was 2015. We played them at home. And Eifert ran right up the seam. It wasn't really a true seam route, but it was basically a vertical up the seam with a different combination underneath. And we scored, I believe, twice on the same play on the same area of the field on Seattle. So if you start to exploit what they do, and you can hold up front against their rush, I think the Bengals will be just fine, because they got the talent to beat anybody now. And now that Burrow's ready to go. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and close it out tonight. I do appreciate everybody coming in. I appreciate Chatterbox Sports. Casey back in the back there. I know he doesn't do any talking on the show, but I can tell you right now, Casey's back in the back doing a lot of stuff for us, and I really appreciate what he's doing. I appreciate everybody over there at Chatterbox. So, again, we will see you next Tuesday night, 9 p.m., talking about the Seattle game. So, again, appreciate all you guys coming on, and we will see you guys next week.